Hello everyone. I'm delighted to join you virtually today to introduce the all-new Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo. I miss the days of sharing these cars and moments in person with you, whether it be via our PCM launch events or open days. However, please be assured when restrictions ease, we cannot wait to welcome you back to our flagship showroom to experience the latest model in the Porsche Taycan range. In fact, you may have already seen the very first PCM client delivery of the Taycan Cross Turismo on the streets of Melbourne. Our sales team continue to work 100% remotely, delivering cars to our valued clients via click and collect or direct delivery from the dealership to their home. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your ongoing support of PCM at this time. In line with the latest government restrictions, our service and parts team are working on site to ensure your Porsche is taken care of and remains running as it should. I've had the great pleasure of driving a Taycan for the last few months since our launch earlier this year. And for those who know me well, they would be aware I'm very fond of sports wagons. The Taycan Cross Turismo appeals to not only our clients with an interest in sustainability, but also has a high level of performance, comfort and space to match, offering the perfect daily drive. At Porsche, we see ourselves as pioneers of sustainable mobility, whether it be fully electric or plug-in hybrid models. In 2020, 1 in 3 of all vehicles delivered in Europe had an electric powertrain, and as the years pass by, I'm sure that we will see more and more Porsche electric vehicles on Australian roads. I'd now like to introduce Ben Musu, PCM Sportscar and Classic Specialist, to present the all-new Taycan Cross Turismo.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my front garden, which given the circumstances is about the only place that I can do these for you at the moment. We'd love to have you in the showroom and present new models as they come up to you in person, but the circumstances of 2021 are preventing us from doing that. We're here today to talk about this car, the Taycan Cross Turismo, a new model. And interestingly, since the Frankfurt Motor Show in 2015 when Mission E broke cover, and then 4 years later when the production-ready Taycan came through at the same show, admirably with so few changes from prototype to production. This is really the first time that we've seen an evolution in the styling or the purpose or a new model type for Taycan. So it's exciting for us because for you guys at home, the drivers and the enthusiasts, we're able to show you that the Taycan is more than just the 3-box saloon that you've seen and known for the last few years. This is a new car. Today's video is not about Taycan under the skin. It's not about how it works or what it does, because everybody knows that. It's about the fact that electric cars, as defined by Porsche with this car, has completely broken the mold of what the understanding is of a sports car or a sporting car and an electric car, and that they can be one and the same. And not only that, but the absence of a combustion engine is not necessarily a handbrake on the car's ability, nor on its sporting character. Indeed, with these cars, with their permanently synchronous motors at each axle, the front driving through a single-speed gearbox and the rear through a 2-speed gearbox, which is a Porsche thing, these cars can be engaging to drive, and not only that, they can be usable. The PSMs weigh less and take up less space than other asynchronous motors, and Porsche use something called a hairspring wind, which basically means that they can use up to 70% of the usable copper space, as opposed to 45% when using conventional windings. Less weight, less space taken up, all better things, all principles that we understand are correct for sporting cars. Over the whole Taycan range, with the forthcoming Taycan, a car with 500 Newton meters of torque, its performance potential allows it to accelerate from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds. This car, the 4S, will do the same sprint in 4.1, and the fastest Taycan will go from 0 to 100 in 2.9 seconds, which is absolutely in the neighborhood of the fastest 911. Now, with those figures in mind, which are relatable, there's no doubt about it. Everybody can put together what it feels like to accelerate from standstill to 100 kilometers in that time, but it's unrelatable to think that to accelerate from 120 kilometers an hour to 200, not that we can do it here, in 2 seconds, is impossible to determine. There are sensations which electric cars can give you in accelerative terms that can't be duplicated with combustion. And if you haven't been out in a Taycan yet, try and do it, because the sensation of making that kind of acceleration without any noise around you only serves to increase what it feels like. It is spectacular. "39 litres more capacity by volume compared to the Taycan saloon, and it's evident here from the greater height. Flat floored, wide, with very deep storage bins and a little bit more space under the floor. The rear capacity can be hiked up to 1,212 litres if the seats are folded flat, which they can do in 3 different sections. Additionally, bag hooks and various other pieces of storage have been incorporated into the design. Very importantly, for a car that is intended to take you places, this car can swallow all the gear that you'll need as well. Moreover, Porsche offer a bike carrier, which plugs in without the use of a tow bar, that carries up to 3 bikes with you. And of course, with the roof rail system, you can use a host of roof carrying accessories, including a roof box. I've always been a big fan of estate cars and sport wagons, which is what this is, defined in its profile by a new sporty flyline, which comes back much further than a Taycan saloon, obviously turning a 3-box design into a 2-box design, and at the same time giving the rear seat occupants 45 millimeters more headroom. And because the sides of the glass house are a little bit more vertical than they are in the saloon, a little bit more shoulder width as well. The absence of a combustion engine doesn't necessarily detract from a car being sporting. Driving these things is fantastic. Their ride is, by definition, firm, but the damping is soft. So the combination of those things makes the car really suitable for poor quality roads, which is a big deal for Porsche with this car, as well as being comfortable to use around town. The multi-chamber adaptive air suspension has been constantly developed by Porsche over the last 15 to 20 years in KN practice, and has been refined to a point where its adaptivity has given yet again more broadness to the scale of usability of this car. Sporting, everyday, it is what Porsche does, and Taycan is absolutely no exception. Porsche have given the Cross Turismo a new attitude, and it comes down to ruggedness, which is basically defined in some of the new styling traits that the car has been given. New front diffuser, new rear diffuser, these fabulous wheel arch mouldings that give the car that little bit of toughness, and Cross Turismo is offered with a host of new alloy wheel designs, which are indeed, you'll agree, a little bit more rugged than the designs that are offered on the saloon. On top of that, new side skirt designs, which do offer some protection to the paint from stones, but also just give that little bit more to the car. Here we are in the cabin, familiar, really much the same as the Taycan saloon. Everything's really well laid out, lovely big PCM, very easy to read, and well within reach as a touchscreen. Just below it, the sub-screen with the climate controls and a touchpad, which allows you to control the main screen from a closer, more convenient location. Completely digital instrumentation and very, very easy to use, I must say. It is a great place to be, but no differently to any Porsche cockpit, you feel cosseted. The high console, which is originally an idea to bring a gear shifter closer to you, ironically, is now bringing more sub-controls closer to you than they do in a car with a normal transmission. The Taycan, whether it's a Cross Turismo or a saloon, is a fabulous place to be. And as we keep saying, for a car intended for lifestyle, to take you off the beaten track and a little bit further from home, this is a great place to be with 3 of your friends or your family. Because part of the Cross Turismo's ethos is to take a car and go into more far-flung places, the Porsche Performance Battery Plus is standard on all Cross Turismo models, enabling you to have between 380 and 450 kilometers of range from a full charge. The final defining difference between the Cross Turismo and the conventional Taycan is gravel mode. As we were talking about before, the acceleration potential of these cars with their high torque and peak torque available at all times, irrespective of the revs of the engine, means it can be unpredictable on loose surfaces. So Porsche have thought ahead, and much like the wet mode in our sports cars, gravel mode will keep you safe when you are driving these things on unpredictable surfaces. The thing that I love the most about the Taycan Cross Turismo is that I believe it really embodies that Porsche philosophy of being able to use a car for every day and then to use it for sporting purposes without adjusting or modifying anything about the car. This car fulfills those purposes, and yet it's full of hallmarks that really do make it a Porsche.